There's the shock jocks, and I suppose you've got them over there in the USA. And, you know, they set the news agenda for the day in the country, you know. Whatever people, unfortunately, don't think for themselves, you know. As I said, people are being treated like sheep, but that doesn't mean you have to actually behave like sheep.
Now,
we've got our own, you know, our own reason, you know, and we have to use those powers of reason, you know, to find out, you know, what's really going on. But because the picture we're being painted now isn't actually the way the world operates.
Yes, but Kevin, you know, 70+% agreeing with you in this major poll, and in other polls, the vast majority. It shows, though, that really people aren't sheep, except they still feel like they're the minority or alone when we are the majority. The polls show it here. They show it in your country. We're just not connecting to each other because the dominant corporate media tries to make us feel like we're isolated and on our own.
Exactly right. So, yeah, and I'm actually been really heartened with all the support, messages of support that I've had through emails, and also just people I've met in the street too, who said, you know, good on you for speaking up. And I think people are wholeheartedly sick, you know, we've got a two-party system in this country, which is a bit of a farce. You know, they have policies which really aren't any different than the other one. You know, I think in Australia, and we become, you know, we went over to economic rationalism in the 80s, you know, and they started, you know, closing down all these things which were set up which were actually very good. And my father said, I don't know why they've got to shut them down. I said, Dad, they've got to do it because they've got no money. He said, don't tell me about that. He said, I grew up, kids, there was no money around for, there wasn't enough food for people to eat. Kids had no shoes. He said, we were like that until the Second World War started. When the Second World War started, 8 out of 10 people were working for the government, and after 6 years of that, we ended up one of the strongest economies in the world. He said, don't worry about the money. They find it when they want to. And he's exactly right.
Now, a few final questions for you. When we've got a final segment coming up, but specifically, I remember the Sydney Morning Herald headline and others a year ago, Australia to implement Chinese-style net censorship. In fact, search that, guys. I want to show people that headline. Australia to implement Chinese-style net censorship. And they said, we're going to shut down tens of thousands of sites. You won't be able to get access to them. Then they tested it for about a month. Most people in Australia couldn't get Infowars.com or PrisonPlanet.com. People in New Zealand couldn't. The ISPs were doing it without the law even passing, but the Aussies and the Kiwis stood up and said no, and they backed off. But that's an illustration of the attack on free speech. They know we're starting to get organized. It scares them. So they're trying to, and I mean, they were even putting dental offices on the list that people couldn't get to their website. Just any list they want to put you on. I've got an article out of New York where somebody that protested was put on the terror list. Somebody that took photos of cops was put on the terror list. So can you speak to the moves for Australian-style Chinese net censorship?
Yeah, well, first of all, you know, they start off for, you know, they make it out like it's a good thing because, you know, they're going to stop child pornography, which is, you know, is a good thing. Be great if they shut that down. But then they say, righto, as you said, they'll shut down sites like 9/11 Truth. And, yeah, once you can't give them the control of that because if they have got outright censorship, you know, especially on the net, and that's one of this story's got out because of the net, and actually Facebook. I don't go on Facebook, but I know all the young people who I know have actually just, the places, this story sort of really spread, and I got support through Facebook and things like that. So they actually operate, it really opens up another agenda, you know, another opportunity for people to circumvent, you know, the corporate news and speak freely to each other. So, yeah, while there's always a good reason, you know, why they bring things in the first place, you know, and they say, it's to stop child pornography, which is great, you know, you don't want to have that filth around, but then it gets used to actually censor people and censor actually views and opinions. So, yeah, it's a scary proposition. It's not supported by the Australian people either.
Well, that's the good news, is they're trying to shut people down, but it's not working.
Yep, that's right. And first off, you know, before they do anything, you know, they do things which are abhorrent, people find abhorrent, you know, and have got it. But actually they use that as an agenda, you know, to actually shut down a lot of other things too. So, yeah, no, the censorship of the net isn't supported.
Well,
and actually, you know, this story's got out so well because we've got, you know, the internet, and we have got Facebook and things like that too. Even though I've never gone on Facebook because I believe it's a massive, you know, information mining exercise.
It is. Sir, stay there. Final segment, final points from Kevin Bracken. We should have our Obama issues, fake terror alert article up at prisonplanet.com in minutes. It's being uploaded now. Get it out to everybody. We'll be right back. Kevin Bracken, president of the Victorian Trades Hall Council, with international headlines exposing the fact that 9/11 is an inside job. The system tried to demonize him. They tried to talk about censoring him. It blew up in their face. And over 70% in major polls agree with him. We've only got a few minutes left. Watson's story is not up yet, dealing with Obama fake terror, but the search term is fake terror. It is now up because all I see is Kurt Nemo's new story at prisonplanet.com. So I don't see the article there, but we're going to find out from him in a moment. But search the term fake terror, ladies and gentlemen. Kevin Bracken, any other points you'd like to make here? I just want to salute you for what you've done. And you told me you are aware of InfoWars and Prison Planet. When's the first time you saw those sites?
Probably be a few years ago now. So, yeah, I think there was a DVD, and actually from then I went on to the website. So, yeah, I saw the DVD first. It was time. Just trying to think of what was the DVD you produced, Alex?
Well, I produced Loose Change Final Cut, but I also put
it was after Loose Change that I saw that.
Truth Rising.
Truth Rising might have been one of them. So yeah, but it's good work for yourself that people are aware, starting to wake up now. You know what's going on, Alex. And I think I don't know whether I made the point that I started speaking about earlier about the protest. It was a year before September 11. It was called the S11 protest. The Channel 9 reporter got a award for it and made it look like World War III. Now, it was totally not the way at all. It was a very peaceful protest. The only time there was any violence was when the police, bashed broke a picket line open. So they made it look like a very violent protest. And any time there's people protesting about what's happening with this corporate, it's always the violent protest of the violent protest. There's a G20 meeting in Seoul later in November. And that'll be, no doubt, they'll play up as violent protesters. But I'll bet the protesters don't do any violence. It'll be the police and actually army, who are there, who do all the violence and actually blame it on the other side. So while they keep doing that, they take the focus away of what they're actually doing in there. They're looking at ways of stitching up the world about turning every human activity into a financial transaction. So, people have got to speak up about it. If we want a better world, we've got to actually be participators in life, and make sure that we don't allow these people to take things away from us. And we actually, we can make the world a better place, and we can do it, without weapons, without violence, and without hatred. We just need to actually be informed of what's going on and actually be prepared to do something about it.
Well, Kevin Bracken, amen to that, and we support you, and Godspeed. The article is up on prisonplanet.com. The search term is fake terror. That will lead everyone to Obama issues fake terror alert on eve of elections. We'll get Paul Watson to get Kurt Nemo to post that at Infowars.com. We need to get this out to everyone because the White House admits they knew last night. They tested the ink cartridge. It takes seconds. There was no explosives residue, but they went with this big sweep today. So we'll all love our government and give our rights up to it. But we are the government. We are the people. Search term fake terror. We'll put that back up on screen. The article that Obama issues fake terror alert on eve of elections. Email that article out to everyone and search that term over and over again. Kevin Bracken, as things unfold and develop, I'd like to have you pop back in the near future as we call for a new 9/11 investigation worldwide. God bless you, sir.
Thanks a lot, Alex, and thanks a lot, listeners.